Free will. We'll have it, we'll use it, but to what extent? See, I wanted to come here to explain what free will really is, how far you can go with it, and if it even exists. Let's go. For centuries, philosophers have debated whether we truly make our own choices, or if every decision is shaped by something outside of our control. Some argue that free will is an illusion, that our past, our biology, and even our subconscious makes our choices before we do. Others believe that at any moment, we can break free, do something unexpected, rewrite our story. But here's the real question. If we truly have free will, why don't we use it more? What stops us from making real, drastic, life-changing choices every single day? Movies have a way of capturing this tension, showing us characters who embrace, reject, or struggle with their own freedom. And sometimes watching them reminds us that maybe, just maybe, we're more in control than we think. So let's take a look at some film examples that show us the different ways of using free will. Let's go. In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Ferris decides that skipping school and staying home just isn't enough. He yearns for an adventure, for something spontaneous, something rebellious, something of pure freedom. And that's what he does. He understands you can take control of your own day and live life on your own terms. He uses free will not for big life decisions, but to break away from the routine of his everyday life. Another great example of breaking out from the mundane comes with the film Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. In this story, Harold and Kumar, two friends with unexciting jobs, decide to break free from their dull, predictable lives as they embark on an unimaginable, chaotic, absolute bonker journey. I'm just kidding. They decide to go get burgers from a fast food joint that takes hours to get to from their home. But this use of free will is really interesting to me, because this very simple journey they partake in for the pure purpose of midnight cravings ends up turning into a wild adventure where they both experience moments of self-discovery. They embrace their ability to make their own choices instead of just following a path set for them. And the point I want to get across here is how free will is used in this film. It highlights how simple decisions can turn someone's life around. You don't need to go skydiving or camp out in the middle of the Amazon to rediscover yourself. Sometimes a trip to White Castle is all you need. Now let's delve into something a bit more morbid, more anarchic. What if free will is used without regard for consequence? What if we could do whatever we wanted, legal or illegal? How would that look? Well, let's dive into the Purge and the Devil Rejects.
Just let us purge.
Both these films raise the dark side of free will by making the characters fully embrace their freedom, rejecting all societal rules and morality. Most or not, these are people who totally commit to their own agency.
I took my boy, you took my boy, you took my fucking boy!
In The Purge, we are presented with the choice of committing any crime without repercussions for a total of 12 hours. And this exhibits the sadistic nature of individuals who are capable of killing for pleasure because they simply can. In The Devil Rejects, we have something of the same nature. Our characters are outlaws who travel around committing heinous crimes. They form their own rules and have no care for authority. This fiction is not without its real-life inspirations. In The Purge, we have the Los Angeles riots of 1992, where a series of riots and civil disturbances took the lives of many. Or the Mexican drug war, when we talk about The Devil Rejects, where the cartel operates without government interference and enforces their own brutal codes. You can argue that this type of free will sometimes is necessary, like for the fall of extreme regimes, but most of the time, we have examples like the Capitol riot of 2021, where mob mentality took over and had people quickly break order and thinking they were above consequence. What I want to highlight here is that just because we can, doesn't mean we should. See, free will gives us the power to make choices, but it certainly does not free us from their consequences. As mentioned earlier in this video, some view free will as an illusion and that our actions are mostly shaped outside of our control. It's an interesting way to look at the psychological weight of choice and how most individuals conform to social expectations or fall under peer pressure. Now, having said that, I still believe that anyone has the power to simply walk away at any time. So, let's talk about the invitation and how our protagonist chose not to die. In this film, Will is invited to a friend reunion, and although everything looks fine in the beginning, he then starts to grow suspicious due to some strange behavior from some of his old friends. He's then forced to ask himself if his paranoia stems from his struggle with past traumas, or if he truly is justified in suspecting that sinister intentions are at play. After following his instincts, he realizes he has the power to simply walk away, and in this case, not drink his ceremonial wine. He trusted his guts and didn't succumb into peer pressure, which ultimately saved his life. Now, in another example, I want to talk about the beach. Here we have our main lead Richard, who's backpacking the country of Thailand. And after discovering a paradise-like island host to a self-sustaining beach community, he decides to not live by standard societal rules and instead live a life of greater freedom and serenity. Little did he know, utopia was a concept hard to achieve. Tensions rise, people fall apart, nothing is as he wanted it to be. He questions if true freedom can exist without control, if living without restrictions inevitably leads to chaos. Of course, he soon realizes that his free will doesn't always apply as he wants to. Sometimes, even paradise has to come with rules. Sometimes, free will has its responsibilities and limitations. During this video, I explored the many ways that free will is portrayed in film and how it connects to real life. But the most important thing that I want to highlight here is you, the viewer. Because in the end, free will isn't just an idea, it's a reality that we live every day. I've seen it firsthand through my travels, immersing myself in different cultures and sharing moments with strangers who became friends, and then realizing that the world is far more open and welcoming than we often believe. Kindness exists everywhere, waiting to be experienced. There's no invisible wall stopping you from going where you want or becoming who you want. You are your own person and every choice is yours to make. So chase after what you want, explore, experience, and embrace the freedom you have. Because in the end, only you can take the steps towards the life you truly want. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been wanting to talk about this film for so long and to give examples of some of my favorite films. If you enjoyed this video, perhaps consider subscribing, give it a like, and drop a comment below with anything that's on your mind. Perhaps your own perspective on free will is different than mine, and if so, I would love to hear about it. And I truly mean what I said at the end. Don't be afraid to go out into the world. It's much scarier to keep wandering and not get out there than to actually go out there. So book that plane ticket. It's gonna be worth it. Goodbye.